Alright, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Schilling Beer Company, and they're out of Littleton, New Hampshire, and this is their Aosta. So they're calling this one an Italian-style Pilsner that comes in at 5% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed, time of review, and this can is just over 2 months old. So we have another Schilling beer that I am reviewing, and yeah, it's Italian-style Pilsner. I'm really digging the style over the past 6 months or so I want to see what Schilling does with one. Of course, they make fantastic lagers, and hopefully this is one as well. So let's crack it open and get it into the glass. So yeah, I really like the fact that Schilling has pretty good distribution here in the Buffalo, New York area. We see a lot of their stuff, so I'm going to continue to pick up their stuff, and if something interests me, I'm going to review it. They make really good beers, plain and simple. That's just how it is. So anyway, oh, this actually has a kind of haziness that I was not anticipating. Look at that. That has a gentle haze to it. I mean, you know, you can see through it a little bit. You know, I see the shadow of my hand, but it has this like vibrant yellow golden color, like pretty bright, almost neon-esque. On camera, it's probably going to look a little bit more dull, but in person, definitely has a vibrancy to it. It has about a finger of a soap sudsy, bright white looking head. Yeah, I mean, there's decent carbonation, but this has like a soft cloudiness to it. So interesting. Anyway, let's get a nose. Nice. So the one thing I like about Italian-style Pilsners, and this could just be me, I don't know anybody else out there if you get this from Italian-style Pilsners, but I always get this like herbaceousness that kind of reminds me of like basil or thyme. And I'm getting here, it's a soft, subtle, faint herbaceousness, but it's there. But I'm getting a big lemony kick as well. Underlying like bready, crackery malt sensation. A little bit of like a honeydew or maybe watermelon rind. That's weird. That's interesting. That's different. Maybe a slight red apple core. This is actually quite complex and a little bit more than I was anticipating. Slight sulfur kind of note to it as well. Maybe a touch of an orange peel as well. Yeah, this smells really good. So it definitely looks, I thought it was going to be like crystal clear. It has a soft haze to it, but it's making my mouth water. Like what I'm smelling here is kind of akin to a lot of other Italian-style Pilsners I've had, but that watermelon kind of rindiness, kind of different. I like it. A little bit more citrus heavy as well. Anyway, I'm going to get to it. Cheers, everybody. That is so good. Holy crap. Wow. I was not anticipating that. Like, it's Schilling. They make good, you know, old world style beers, and a lot of their beers are lagers, and they just crush them. They just do. They nail them more often than not. They do. I'll tell you right now, after 2 sips, this is the best Italian-style Pilsner I've had to date. I've only had like maybe 6 to 8 of them to this point, but this is great. We'll go a body and mouthfeel. Body's like medium body, maybe a touch over. This is bigger than I anticipated. The mouthfeel is kind of what you want from this. It's crisp. It's quite clean. It's very effervescent. It's refreshing. It's crushable. It's just like, it works mouthfeel style. Mouthfeel style? Mouthfeel style? I just said mouthfeel style. Yeah, I'm not the best at this. Mouthfeel wise. This is what I was trying to say. The taste though, this is where it kind of goes above and beyond what I know of the style, at least of the beers I've had. Front of the palate, that bready, crackery malt hits, and it's really nice. It has a nice crackery, more so crackery than bready, but it's like kind of both. And that kind of dives underneath the palate. It's with me the entire way. Like I can always taste it, but it never steps in the way. On top of the palate, I get a complex citrus note at the front. It's lemon, it's orange. It's more like a peel or like a zest than anything else, but it's there. I get a little bit of like a red apple core right after that. And then halfway through the palate, that's where the watermelon or like honeydew melon rind hits. Maybe a little bit more than that, maybe a little bit of the flesh of those melons. Like it has a little bit of sweetness that kind of kicks in. And then on the finish, that's where that herbaceousness comes in. Again, it's subtle. It has a faint herbaceousness. It's more to like the basil side of things than thyme, but it's definitely noticeable for me. There's a mild bitterness here, but this is really dry. This is full on dry. It dries out the palate. And when I'm done, I'm kind of left wanting to take another sip, so I do. Wow. This is delicious, my friends. This right here, this beer is delicious. 5%. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to taste it. Schilling, listen, I cannot recommend Schilling enough. When it comes to these low ABV, old world styles, your Pilsners of the world, your dark lagers, things of that nature, they do a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to pick up more and review them just because they're tasty, and I feel like more people need to know about them. I feel like you're in the Northeast, you know about Schilling, but they just make great beer, and this is the best Italian-style Pilsner I've had to date, and I'm going to rate it as such. So, Aosta from Schilling, this is getting a 4.5 out of 5 all day long. Stylistically, I can sit here and say, oh, this is a 5 out of 5 because, you know, I've only had 6 to 8 in the style, but from what I know what they're supposed to be, probably not a 5 out of 5. I don't know if they're the haze here. Somebody out there, Italian-style Pilsners, is this normal? Does this matter? I just felt like anytime I see a Pilsner, you kind of want it to be crystal clear, right? This doesn't have that. Is that part of the Italian style? I'm not going to sit here and bullshit you and be like, oh, I read up on it. And I just always felt like Italian-style Pilsners to me, anyone I've ever had has that herbaceousness. This has it. But, you know, the cloudiness doesn't really matter because it just drinks like a dream. Price point and availability. I paid $3.99 for that can. I think 4 packs for $14.99 in my neck of the woods. I don't know what they are at the brewery. Typically, when they make distro, are a couple more dollars. Like a lot of their beers that are 14 at the brewery are 16 here, and if they're 12 at the brewery, they're like 14 here. So I'd imagine this is like $13, $14 at the brewery. Listen, I wish craft beer prices were cheaper now. I do. I mean, I think we all do. But $3.99 for a can of this quality, I have no qualms about that. Would I like to see this for, you know, $2.99 or $2.50 a can, you know, $10 4-pack? Sure. Just, we're in fantasy land at this point. Like, everything's out of control. So $3.99, I'll pay it again. I'll buy more of their beer and try it out, and I will pay $4 a can. So, and again, availability, I have no idea. Again, they do have the deposit for the can, Vermont, Maine, Massachusetts, New York, Connecticut, and Michigan. So I'd imagine they're in at least those states. Outside of that, if you've had anything from Schilling, especially this beer, post in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about it. What's your favorite Schilling beer? This is my favorite to date. I think I've only had 4 at this point. Or I've reviewed 4. I might have had like about 5 or 6. But they just make good beer, and let me just say, I'm going to review more, like I said, and we're going to do that. So anyway, appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.